All right, fifth grade. So we're back now to build the longitude model. We just got done doing the latitude model. If you notice, I went ahead and erased everything that we started with, except for our two tips that we did right here and our sample coordinates. Okay, so again, latitude, we started with the equator, and that was our first step, more or less. And then we added the black lines across the top and the bottom. And those are supposed to represent tip number one here, which are latitude lines equal flat lines. So lat equals flat. Okay. The second part of what we did is starting at the equator, we added an arrow going up and an arrow going down to represent the fact that when you do these coordinates, you start with your north or south coordinate first. So you start at the equator and you go either up or you either go down, depending on if you have an N or an S right here. Okay, so now we're going to start the second model. Clearly, you all are not going to erase what you already did on the other circle. What you're going to do again is have a second circle of equal size. So this time, we're going to start with the prime meridian. So I'm going to do similar to what I did before. I'm going to pick a prime meridian line, and I'm going to try to go right down the middle, more or less, and I'll straighten out. Okay. And now what we have is our step 3 already. So on your circle, you're going to add a prime meridian line. And we've discussed this before, but prime meridian is like the longitude version of the equator. So it is 0 degrees, just like the equator. But in this case, you're going to go either west or east of it, or left or right of it. Okay. So let's go ahead, since we've been doing this already, we're going to add a purple box around step number 3 to show that we did it. So there's that. So now we have step number 3 using the prime meridian. And this time, as you can tell, we've already gone north and south first. So we already described how 50 north or whatever number north or south goes first. Now we're on to the east and west, which goes second. Okay. When we add these lines, you all are going to notice they're going to look a little different. So I'm going to put kind of these half moon shaped lines, and I have to twist them on my end. You guys won't have to. Okay, but I'm going to show you, for example, move this guy over here, that we are going to add them to the left and to the right of the prime meridian. So notice how I have to do a little bit of work here when I add mine, but you guys can just obviously add some squiggly lines, okay? So I'm going to add maybe one more on this other side, okay? And you can do the same on your end. So we can just add a few of these. Obviously, I'm going to have to make mine a little bigger and things like that. So there we go. Okay. So while I'm doing this, I'll just go ahead and tell you all that you can add as many or as few of these as you want, but they should have some curvature to them. They should not be just straight down from where you start at the top and go down to the bottom. And the reason for that is they're supposed to represent the curvature of the earth. Okay. So I know we kind of got away with one on the latitude lines, but now we have our longitude lines. And of course, I mean, they start from the prime meridian, so I can add some little ones here in the middle, but really it's not the biggest thing in the world. Whoops, lost my globe. Okay. So I can add maybe one more just on this side just to give you all a frame of reference. Okay. So like that, that's fine, right? And basically, here we go. I'll add one more just for the purpose of our conversation. There we go. All right, so something to that effect. There we go. Okay, not the prettiest thing I've ever made, but if you all kind of see the fact that these start from the North Pole and they curve down to the South Pole, so it kind of gives you that three-dimensional look. I know that this is the more professional version over here underneath my screen, but there's a lot of different lines on here and people get confused, and obviously the blue and the red represent west and east on this, so we're just going to stick with our basic model. Okay, so on this one now we're going to go ahead and add the purple box, and we're just going to talk one more quick second here about how this is going to look. Okay, so let me add this last box here, And pretty much here's what it means. Okay, so now we have this second number. For our purpose, it's 85 west. That would tell me that I start over now at the prime meridian and I have to go 85 degrees west. So I would look at whatever line is numbered 90 or 80 or whatever number, and then I would follow the curvature of the longitude line down to where it meets the latitude line that we talked about earlier. Okay, so for an example, I'm just going to make this up, but I'm going to put a green line on here, which you all do not have to do. Okay, but let's just say that we have 50 north, and I'm going to assume my equator is here at the middle, and I'm going to say that 50 north is about here, somewhere on the globe. Okay, let's just say for our argument's sake that this line represents 50 north. Now, the thing with latitude, longitude, and coordinates is you have to have that second number. So we're going to imagine that this is 50 north, but then we're going to imagine that maybe out here is 85 west, or let's say it's 90 west, and we're just going to be off of it. Where those lines meet is actually where your coordinates will take you. Okay, so I'll just make up a little coordinate here, and that's where they would actually meet, like let's say the center of this circle. Okay, so that is how latitude longitude works when you take all the parts and put them together. Okay, what we did with this model, again, you don't have to add this circle or this green line, but what we're doing is we're showing that now for step 2 of figuring out these coordinates, you have the prime meridian and you go either west, which is this direction, or east, which is this direction, and you follow the curvature of that line until it meets your earlier line of latitude. Okay, we're going to do some more practice with this coming up. We're going to have kind of an easier version, and then we're going to have kind of like a real world version here coming up on the same assignment. But for now, hopefully you guys have both models, the latitude one side by side with the longitude model somewhere on your notebook page. Okay, so for today, we're good. I hope you all are staying safe, and we'll talk to you real soon. All right, bye.